Hello, and welcome to Montclair News Lab. From the School of Communication and Media, I'm James Coffey.
I'm Melinda D. Pasquale.
And I'm Shayla Baez. Each week we scour campus, Montclair, and New Jersey to bring you news and stories we'll be talking about all week. Up first today, Facebook continues to be in the spotlight for issues like consumer privacy, fake news, and more. Many users worry that the platform is not as safe as it should be. Reporter Luis Biondolillo has the story.
Facebook has been under fire for allowing interference in the presidential election of 2016. It has been documented that Russians used Facebook to influence the election in attempts to divide the American people. It seems that every time we see Mark Zuckerberg, he is apologizing to someone.
It's clear now that we didn't do enough to prevent these tools from being used for harm as well. It was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
Recently, top Facebook executive Carolyn Everson visited the university. Montclair News Lab sat down with her to find out what positive steps the company is taking to improve their election integrity.
We now have all ads for elections, both political ads as well as issue ads, that are fully transparent. People will know who paid for them, how many people were targeted, who was targeted. They can see all of the creative, and that archive is available for 7 years. So we've made enormous progress on election integrity.
Another criticism is that the news feed becomes an echo chamber for the views of the consumer, rather than presenting multiple points of view. Everson's response?
If you have more than 150 friends, the likelihood of you having friends on both left, we'll use the left and right here in the US, is actually much higher than you sitting and watching a particular cable news network or reading a newspaper. If somebody makes a comment that is against your political views, I sometimes hear people say, I'm going to block them, I'm going to unfriend them. I never want to see that comment again. And I would urge people to just be open to a diverse set of point of view.
Everson sees 4 critical areas for Facebook: data security and privacy, election integrity, reducing the spread of fake news, and brand safety.
I do not trust Facebook. I don't think they're a good corporation.
For security issues regarding Facebook and my usage, I don't really think about it at all. For Facebook to be free for anybody to use, you have to run advertisements on it.
I used to go on Facebook when I was younger, but getting older and seeing kind of the way they operate, I'm not a fan of Facebook. I haven't been on it in a year or two, and I'm not planning on going back on it.
Everson says that restoring relationships with consumers is a top priority. From Montclair News Lab, I'm Luis Biondolillo.
Recently, Montclair News Lab sent our reporter Sarah Perney to conduct a special News Lab investigation. Her job was to find out why the prices at Dunkin' on campus are more expensive than the ones in town. Here's what she found.
Walk around campus and you'll see some of the same restaurants you see off campus. I soon discovered a big difference though: price. I went to the Dunkin' Donuts on campus and ordered a large coffee. It cost $2.89. Then I decided to order the same cup of coffee just a few miles down the road. That $2.89 coffee on campus was only $2.55 off campus. Why? It took a while, but I was finally able to get a hold of Dining Services Director James Robinson on the phone. He has a prime role in deciding how dining services is run on campus. I asked him, why is there such a difference in price between on-campus and off-campus food?
Chartwell's requirement of, making their money to pay for the license and everything else that goes into that, that's why pricing varies from one area to another.
So I got in touch with Chartwell's media representative, Meredith Rosenberg. After many back and forths via email, Rosenberg gave Montclair News Lab the following statement. We review the U.S. government-published cost of food away from home indices for the metropolitan area, portion size, product availability, customers' ability to pay, customers' demand, franchise requirements, contractual obligations, as well as university budget controls. During our email exchanges, she sent the exact same statement 3 times. In an article on Money.com, I found out that in some cases, Chartwell's promises universities maximum profit. So I decided to email Mr. Robinson one more time to find out if this was the case with our school. And he confirmed Montclair State does profit off of their contract with Chartwell's. At least now when you purchase a coffee on campus, you'll know where that extra 34 cents is coming from. For Montclair News Lab, I'm Sarah Perney.
We are joined now by Sarah Perney. Thank you for joining us. How did you pursue covering this piece?
So it was definitely an uphill battle. It was very difficult to be able to get in touch with every single person I needed to get in touch with, because once you would get one answer, I would need another, and I have to go to a whole nother person in a whole different department. But I think once I got all the answers I needed, I was definitely shocked and happy about how my piece ended up coming out.
What does this price difference mean for college students?
I think it means everything. I think the 38 cents, although at the moment people don't even notice it. You know, the people I was interviewing didn't even notice that prices were so different. But I think over time you might notice it, because over time that might be a textbook you could have bought. That might be, you know, another year of tuition or something. Over time, it adds up for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's something I certainly didn't know until seeing your piece.
Right.
So not many people know that companies are hired by the school to run their food services, companies like Chartwell's. So could you tell me what Chartwell's is?
So that's exactly what it is. It is a company that Montclair has hired to help them out with dining services. Overall, the school does profit off of their contract with Chartwell's. So the goal is to not lose money, and I think that's exactly what our school had in mind when they made their deal with the company Chartwell's.
So many people complain about the food on campus.
Right.
So if a student wanted to get a certain food chain into the school, are they able to do so?
That's definitely something you'd have to go through a whole long list of people to get done, because Chartwell's does decide what we have on campus, what type of food, what type of menu items. They decide the fact that you can't even use a Dunkin' Donuts gift card on campus at our Dunkin'. So, you know, that's something you definitely have to go through so many people to get done, and it might not even be worth it in the end, because the quality and everything might be a little bit different than what you're used to.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for coming today, Sarah. Let's take it from food to superheroes. We now look at one honor fraternity giving back to the community by making superhero capes for child cancer patients. Nicole Romaine has the story.
You got a suit? Then suit up.
Superheroes inspire us. They're strong, brave, and they fight for their loved ones. The members of Phi Sigma Pi, a national honor fraternity with a chapter here at Montclair State University, believe that superheroes are also found in the real world. They believe that kids who fight cancer are stronger than Superman. The fraternity decided to take a creative approach to celebrating these heroes.
Capes for Cancer is an event where we're going to be making capes for kids who have cancer and other terminal illnesses. We're going to be sending them to St. Jude's Research Hospital in Tennessee, and they'll be dispersed from there. What I did is that I got the fabric and then I cut out the capes for them before the event started. We brought yarn, we brought markers, paint, and other pieces of fabric to add onto the cape to personalize it for the kids that we're going to be sending it to.
Each cape brings its own sense of empowerment.
There's some really cute ones, just like there's like some people wrote inspiring quotes on it, some put like Superman symbols on it, like you can be Supergirl was on it.
Being a kid, you want to be outside, you want to be running, you want to be enjoying your time, you want to be with your friends, and it's a little bit boring being inside a building, locked up all day.
The capes deliver something powerful to the kids, a message of encouragement.
I think having like a physical thing like a cape kind of gives them a little more hope, and like especially when it's bright and colorful and kids love color, and it's like this little shining outlook on like a dreary situation.
It's a quote from Captain America.
The capes aren't just being delivered to hospitalized children, they're being delivered to superheroes.
How heartwarming the kids are in themselves and like how strong they are, and they're like, it's gonna be okay, and they have such a positive outlook. So I think that's what makes them super.
From Montclair News Lab, this is Nicole Romaine.
We just saw college students doing their part to help people with cancer. Now you're about to meet a 10-year-old cancer survivor who raised over $40,000. She's an inspiration to many and was invited to President Trump's State of the Union address.
Joining Melania in the gallery this evening is a very brave 10-year-old girl, Grace Eline.
It must have been one of the most interesting nights of her life. So I sat down with Grace and her mom, Aubrey. I asked Aubrey how they got invited to the State of the Union, and Grace actually answers.
So Melania was looking to invite guests, and then she came upon the ACCO, and she found me.
Yep, and ACCO is the American Childhood Cancer Organization. And Grace was a gold ribbon ambassador for them when they did their collaboration with Amazon
So what does that mean?
in September.
We got to go to Seattle
Yes.
to the Amazon headquarters and help and like get to. It's like a little rally almost, right?
So Amazon partnered with the ACCO for Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, which is the month of September, and they painted one of their prime airplanes gold in honor of pediatric cancer. And there were 1 million gold ribbon boxes that month to bring awareness to pediatric cancer. So it was a nice collaboration between the Amazon and the ACCO. Grace was one of the pediatric cancer warriors that was chosen to be featured. So that's where, we were interviewed and we had a photo shoot for her story, and the White House had seen that and were inspired by her story. And that's how we ended up going and Grace representing pediatric cancer, which is kind of random, but yet kind of amazing.
How does it feel to be so young and to talk to all, even like the politicians and everything about your journey, and how does it feel that you can be helping other people who are going to go through the same thing?
Because then I can continue it since I'm really young now. I can continue it for the rest of my life, so I still have a long time to do this. So that's good for me.
Bring awareness.
Yeah.
Something you want to take with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's inspirational. You hear it on. It came to my attention at the State of the Union, and that's why I was like, this is amazing, and they're from Jersey. What?
I know. Thank you. So another nonprofit that we came across as we were being treated.
Books That Heal.
Is Books That Heal. So they help these little cancer warriors write their story. So Grace wrote hers.
Where is it?
Do you want to talk about it?
Here it is.
So this is your book, your story?
Books That Heal. See?
Their little logo at the bottom.
So what do you write in the book? What do you talk about?
What's the story about?
Me.
Well, it's about you.
Adventures of the Marvelous G. That's the name of the book. And then so first, it's the cover again. And I like this design because it has the hearts.
But it's about your...
Oh, so...
What's the book about?
It's about me and my...
Story with cancer.
It's so inspirational to meet someone like Grace Eline.
Shows like Montclair News Lab highlight the journalism side of programs at the School of Communication and Media. One professor is bringing narrative and entertainment to our classes. Our director, Elena Plumser, has the story.
Montclair State University's television program has always focused on news production, but in the fall of 2018, Stuart McClellan joined the staff with a vision for entertainment. He previously taught at Brooklyn College for over 20 years, where he created Netflix-like web series such as this one.
Congrats, Roxy!
You might be satisfied with sacrificing your dreams for a drop in the economic bucket, but not me.
Most of what we did was art and cultural programming, music, dance, drama.
Now at Montclair State, his students work on art and cultural programming. One class brings in a band to play live. The students learn to work together as a crew to record the music and mix multiple camera angles together into a coherent whole.
So I enjoy stories productions classes a lot because it brings in both drama and pop culture, which is something that the School of Communications didn't previously have. It's really fun because we kind of get to have more creative freedom than in the other classes.
In narrative TV production, students focus on storytelling and how to shoot sitcoms.
To be able to do a course that is just drama, we do 3 or 4 scenes each term. And we usually start out pretty simple with the 2-person scene. We talk a lot about dramatic analysis and theory and just the structure of action in a drama, when we're talking character, circumstances, and conflict.
Before I took these more narrative classes, I was a little disappointed in the TV program when I came to Montclair because I was going into TV like, okay, I'm going to be learning basically how to work on SNL or like Jimmy Fallon, and that really isn't what most of the classes were.
I want my students to take away a very well-rounded production experience. I think it's really important for young people who want to have media careers to experience as many different production genres as possible.
We were very poor. They took our land,
everything we had. They threatened us every day. There was no help for us, so we come here.
Each production genre presents a unique set of problems, and the more problems that you're able to solve, I think the better overall production person, writer, producer, director, editor, whatever track you want to focus your career on. I just think you're going to be much more well-rounded and just have a much more successful career.
In his 2 semesters at Montclair State, Stuart McClellan has already made a difference. He has big plans in mind, including a student awards show that looks like a Hollywood production. For Montclair News Lab, this is Elena Plumser.
As this semester comes to an end, many of the students will be graduating and leaving us, which is always exciting, but this also means that new people will be able to take over the leadership roles in our school's organizations. Joining me now is Haral Patel, who will become the new station manager for WMSC, and Heather Burzak, the new editor-in-chief for the Montclarian. Read it every week, I promise.
Oh, thank you.
So what are you guys most excited for in your new roles? Haral, we'll start with you. Like, what are your plans for WMSC?
Well, I'm most excited to try different things. We definitely want to continue on doing a summer buzz and keep our content going over the summer, so news never dies, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
And next year I definitely want to try applying for new awards that the radio we can submit our pieces into.
So you guys aren't just semester-wise, you guys go all summer too with your
Yeah, we
radio?
do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Radio never stops. We just keep going. We want to make sure that every day we have something that's going through our airwaves.
Yeah, something slotted in the hour.
Right.
Now, do you have the same shows that continue in the spring and the summer? Or is it a whole different, like, can alumni come back and do shows in the summer, or is it just restricted to students? Just because it's harder for the students that aren't living here?
So for alumni, we have a week that's called Alumni Takeover, where alumni could come and they're trained and they get to their own show. Regarding to different kinds of shows, we have a DJ program where students who want to have their own show, they can go through the program, and if they pass, they can have their own show, and it provides a different voice in the airwaves and different style of their content.
Awesome. Now, Heather, what are your big plans for the Montclair, coming up?
Well, we've set a very significant bar this year by winning nine awards for the New Jersey Press Foundation. So one of our goals is to definitely reach that goal for the awards, if not have even more awards for the year. We have the Pinnacle Awards coming up, which is a national award. So what we're going to do is submit our awards we won for the state to the national competition and see where they get us with nationally being recognized. We also implemented our video team this year, which was a huge step in the Montclarian becoming multi-platform. So we definitely want to add more members to the video team and have more videos released on our website and on our YouTube channel, and also just get our paper and website more exposure. So we're excited to see the Montclarian on more names being popped up and have more people engaging in our organization.
Now, how do people how do people get involved with the Montclarian?
Well, we have a general meeting each week at 2:30 on Wednesdays. It's in the conference room connected to the News Lab, and everyone is open to come join and come to our meeting. And if they're interested, we take their email, add them to all the mailing lists for each section, and they can decide whether they want to engage in a story or pitch their own.
Now, how do you go about finding stories for the paper? So, like, for example, this paper, the cover story is that the commencement speaker, we announce them. How do you go deciding this is going to be the cover story and not something else?
Well, we get a lot of our stories based on OrgSync. There are a lot of events throughout campus that we decide are newsworthy to put in the Montclarian. We also have a police briefing each week. The captain of the Montclair State Police Department sends us reports that happen around campus, and some fascinating ones that stand out we may pursue in a story, or even on the police blotter in general in the news section, people do engage in interest to seeing these types of patterns, whether it be theft or whether it be harassment or anything of that sort. And also Erica Blyberg, who is the public relations for Susan Cole, she gives us insight into some upcoming events, like the announcement speaker. She gave us insight in the Montclarian.
Yeah, because I was looking for it. I kept thinking, like, oh my gosh, when are they going to announce who the speaker is?
So sometimes we do get first digs into announcements.
And you
which
break
is
the news.
Yes, break the news, which is exciting.
All the, I noticed a lot of the women are taking over the platforms and leadership roles. I think that's super awesome for the school and everything.
For sure.
Thank you both for joining me today. I'll I'll be reading the Montclarian and listening to WMSC. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
WMSC and the Montclarian and Montclair News Lab were all heavily evolved in this month's series of focused immigration stories. Today, we take a look at one family who escaped oppression in Syria. Reporter Ashley Kuzakaki has our story.
Yazan Al-Hajari uses music to tell the world of his view and experience from his homeland in Syria.
Felt to me like in Syria it's sort of kingdom of fear.
For the Al-Hajari family, coming to America meant freedom in how they express as artists.
I can do whatever I can imagine. That's in Syria, there is, always.
Being an artist in Syria is not that easy. There are rules and regulations set in place. For instance, when you criticize the government, you can get threatened. Or in Yazan's case, you can get thrown in jail.
Once I was in a taxi and I criticized the government because I was upset. That wasn't really wise. And it turns out he was a security agent and I went to jail.
Once being in a dark situation, Yazan was able to channel a part of him that he had come to love, being a musician.
Then I started to write songs and, expressing myself as a person and a musician and artist. Write some songs criticizing the government.
Thanks to Montclair State University's Scholar Rescue Fund, more families are able to immigrate under the protection of the university. For the Al-Hajari family, this was their ticket to getting out of Syria. Although Yazan is a musical artist, his mom decided to take her artistic abilities and culture to open up a shop in Montclair, New Jersey called Le Souk.
The souk mean the name of my store, mean the bazaar in the Middle East. I wanted to share this culture, this kind of business with the people here. My son, he's an artist, me too, so we need to be free to express our, feeling, our idea, our opinion.
For the Al-Hajaris and so many other families like them, the Scholar Rescue Fund has provided the opportunity to once again feel safe and comfortable in a place they call home.
It's very good country here. You can make your dreams happen if you work, so the opportunities here is very good.
Art allows people to express themselves, and you can see how freeing that is for Jumana and Yazan.
This semester, we have made it a mission to keep one of our reporters, Jeremy Wall, in the background of each show. You can see him right there. Today, he will be the star of the show as he premieres in a new segment called Where's Jeremy? Jeremy loves trying new things, and for his first mission, he wants to play soccer. Let's watch.
Today, I'm going to learn from a few Montclair State University soccer players how to play the game. I'm going to learn some basics of it, and who better than to turn to our very own soccer team.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Get in a triangle and pass.
Yeah.
My day as an MSU soccer player began with some warm-ups. Ian and Colin started out by having the three of us stand in a triangle, and then they taught me how to pass.
Oh, nice. Oh, try not to use the hands now.
No, everything but the hands. You can use your head, you can use your thigh, anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Let's see a header.
A header.
You can do it. On your forehead, not yet.
Oh.
Turns out it's hard to keep your balance with the sun in your eyes.
Ah.
Making goals is definitely way harder than it looks, but I think I was getting the hang of it. However, I still needed some more practice. Being goalie is a different story. Have you ever had a 6'1" student athlete kick a ball straight at you as hard as he can? I think my life just flashed before my eyes. After today's hard work, I think I might just try out for the team. Hopefully Ian, Colin, and the guys can make some room for me, a very valuable player. From Montclair News Lab, I'm Jeremy Wall.
Where's Jeremy will return this fall on Montclair News Lab.
Each week, we end our show with the photo of the week. This week, the photo is a group shot of all of us and our great crew here at Montclair News Lab, including Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know Jeremy's in that photo. Bright,
Every single
bright,
person.
smiley, and happy.
Yeah.
He always is.
Yeah, always.
Follow us on social media.
And for our final show of the semester, let's take a look back at other photos of the week. You can also watch and catch up with us on our website, montclairnewslab.tv. Sadly, it's our last show of the semester. Thank you for joining us here at Montclair News Lab. I'm Shayla Baez.
I'm James Coffey.
And I'm Melinda D. Pasquale. Before we end today, we want to take some time to show you at home the important people behind the scenes. Last week, I ran around the control room and the studio during a taping of our show. Here's some of those hard workers.
We're about to enter the control room, which is where a lot of the action happens. And some yelling, but it's all happy times here. Let's go. So we're here with our pretty awesome director. So Elena, tell me what your job is and how you do what you do.
So I work very closely with the senior producers and we get ready for the show. I'm calling the shots, figuring out what shots the camera should have, and basically just working hard with the team to pull a show together.
I listen to Elena's cues, whatever the producers tell her to do, then she tells me what to do, and I switch cameras, get the graphics ready.
I'm in charge of making sure levels are good and everyone sounds good and everything's not too loud or too quiet.
Let's go to the studio. They're recording a show right now. Let's go to the other side. Ready? So tell me what your job is as a TA for this class.
So as a TA, I'm actually in charge of doing the cameras, so I'm part of the class at this point.
I grab the mics when I first get here because setting up the IFBs is pretty important and getting all of the guest mics set up.
So what do you do during the show?
Hi, so I operate this camera as a camera op.
We're here with Jeremy. What do you do for the show?
Melinda, I do almost a variety of things. I report, I talent book. I'm that guy who you see in the background working hard on his packages.